So I'm just taking a fork and I am just roughing up this avocado.
Beautiful.
I'm gonna add to this some lemon juice and some lemon zest. Just about a teaspoon. Avocado toast is the thing.
Okay.
Right now. So we're gonna be in the know and really cool today.
Okay.
Just gonna put about half. It's about a teaspoon. And I'm just gonna put this juice right in. And then just a little bit of salt.
Perfectly browned.
Look at you. I'm gonna leave this to you.
Okay.
To make us avocado toast. Now I'm gonna get started on some scrambled eggs.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Trisha, for being here.
My pleasure. Thanks for having
me. We get another round of applause for Trisha Yearwood. Legend.
Right. I was just watching that clip thinking, did you hear all those precise measurements? A little bit of this, about a teaspoon, some of that, some of this. I'm like, I don't even, like, how could you make that if you don't really know? I mean, it's like no precise measurements.
It's the Trisha way.
It is.
And
it
I
totally
think the show is pretty successful. I mean, it won an Emmy, so I think you're good.
It's doing okay.
It's doing
okay. It's doing okay.
Everyone watches Trisha's cooking show, right? Thank God. And yes, I am hungry too, Matt. Thank you for that. So let's talk about a day in the life of Trisha Yearwood. What's that like? Because we all want to be you.
It depends on which day, you're talking about. It could be a day of, like, right now we are in the middle of filming a new season of Trisha's Southern Kitchen. So tomorrow morning I'll be making something. We're shooting fall shows, so I might be in a Halloween costume tomorrow. I might be making turkey and dressing tomorrow, and then I might be. If another typical day might be getting on a plane with my husband to go play a show in some place in the country, which is also fabulous. And then there's a few days in between there where I stay in my pajamas all day, and it's awesome. It's all awesome.
The best kind of day. And you mentioned your husband. I mean, your husband is Garth Brooks.
He is.
Pretty good.
He is.
And you guys have talked about your love of coffee and how you can't get your day started without coffee.
I have to have coffee to survive, and I'm having it's tea time today because I'm a little under, so I'm having this Trisha's tea time today. But my husband does not drink coffee, which I don't really trust people who don't drink coffee, but I do love him. But he makes my coffee every morning, and he makes really good coffee, so he can stay.
That's so sweet. I know, the tea, too, helps with your vocal cords because, Trisha can sing, guys. I didn't know if you knew this. She's really good at it.
Thank you very much.
And you and Garth are on tour.
We are. We've been on this world tour. I do things in a certain way, and I go out, and for 25 years I have toured when an album comes out, and I've done as many as 100 shows in a year, probably more in the early days. But Garth doesn't do anything like normal people, So this tour has been a 3+ year tour, and we are in the last few months of this leg. We're going to figure out what we're going to do in 2018, but it's been really intense. It's been a lot, and it's been really great. So a lot of singing and performing. It's been really great. It's what we do. It's what we love to do, and we feel really grateful that we get to do it together. Yeah.
Man, I got to see Garth and Trisha in concert.
Yes, you do.
It's a dream. I'm just waiting for those tickets.
Well, we can make that happen. We'll see how you do today. We'll talk it over.
Perfect. Guys, it's an audition. I'm sweating now. But I do want to talk about these incredible products that you have with Williams Sonoma. So she's a cook, she's a singer, and you're releasing these right in time for summer when everyone's out there barbecuing in their yards. Tell us a little bit about each one, because it looks good.
I'll tell you that if you know me, and some of you do know me really well, I have been careful to just associate myself with things that feel right to me and feel natural to me. And I do a lot of things, but I only do things that feel like they're right to me. And I, probably to say that I've been stalking Williams Sonoma for years is not polite to say, but it kind of is true. I am their customer. I really have always loved them. And I've talked about doing some food products before, but I've never done it before because I'm very much about, if you make my food at home, I want it to taste like I made it. I don't want you to go, well, that doesn't taste like the way that I would make it at home. So Williams Sonoma and I collaborated on just a summer promotion. And they were wonderful to work with because, first of all, my recipes are really simple. So if you were to make this unfried chicken out of the cookbook, you still don't have to do much assembly. But even I find myself now using the mix because I don't have to even put the red pepper flakes in the panko crumbs. It's done for me. And even the little bottle of Tabasco's in the box. So then all you need is buttermilk. So it just makes everything a little bit easier. And so if you want me to go through each one, I mean, the barbecue sauce and the applewood molasses rub kind of go together. The savory and the sweet mix together for summer barbecue. The biscuit mix is really sentimental to me because my dad was a great cook and he always made breakfast. And he made these biscuits all the time. So, and my dad's gone now. And my dad was also a very practical man who probably is going, you're in Williams Sonoma? You know, this is like, he's a farmer from Georgia, you know? So it's like, it's kind of funny to me that his name is on this box. I'm so proud of that. And then, like I mentioned, the unfried chicken mix, just a way to get a crunchy, really good chicken without deep frying it. Deep frying is still great, but not all the time. And then Summer in a Cup is one of my favorite things for summer. This was born out of a hot day in Oklahoma. And my friend Mandy going into the house and just coming out with a drink, and she just kind of found what was in the kitchen. There was some pineapple juice, there was some Hawaiian punch, I think, in there, and some coconut rum. A lot of coconut rum. And it started out as that concoction. And so when I was talking with Williams Sonoma, I said, this might be the perfect summer cocktail. But it was a kind of a different recipe every time. You know how that is. If you're making something, you're kind of like, well, I've got a little orange juice or whatever. So we worked really hard to come up with the perfect mix of that. And it's really good, actually, without alcohol. I'm not sure why you would do that. But coconut rum or vodka, a little splash of lemon lime juice, you're good.
Perfect for Memorial Day. I'll just take this. No.
It also says it serves 12, but I don't think that's true.
It looks like a bottle for one, right, guys?
Yeah.
And the coconut rum. What made you, get into cooking? Were you always a cook? Was it something that you were always passionate about, or was it something that you kind of found over time to become a hobby?
My mom and my dad were both really good cooks, and they had real jobs. My dad was a local banker, and my mom was a teacher, but we farmed at home. We had our own garden. My mom was an incredible cook, and so I didn't really have to cook that much as a kid. I set the table. I cracked the ice. We didn't have an ice maker. I was the ice maker. And so I didn't really do much except help out in that way until I went off to college and then got on my own. And I really missed home, and I missed home cooking. And I think the first time I ate a vegetable out of a can was at some point in college, living in an apartment. And I called home and said, I miss all this food. Tell me how to make something that I can make that's easy. And so I was a late bloomer. I was probably in my early 20s when I really started to learn how to cook. And that's when I learned that my mom's recipes were simple. They were not hard to follow, and they were really good. And that simple is best. It doesn't have to be fancy to be good. And so that's the kind of cook I am. I'm not a chef. I'm proud to be a home cook. And I started then, and I enjoyed it because it brought me comfort of missing home. And then I also enjoyed making food for my friends and my family, and they would be like, "Oh, this is so good." It's all an ego trip, It's like you get applause when you sing, and then when someone tastes your food and they go, "Oh my gosh," then that's applause too. So it's also self-serving, but I really do love to feed people that I love.
And that's why your show is so successful, because it's relatable, cooking that's easy but delicious. I know my mom is a huge fan of your show, and Ina Garten, she loves her too.
Yeah, I think it's because it is real. I mean, I was very. I really wasn't sure I wanted to do a cooking show because I kind of fell into this whole thing I do like to cook, but I never dreamed that it would turn into cookbooks and a show and all of this other stuff. But I wanted the show to be real. I wanted to kind of show behind the curtain, because nobody watches a cooking show and really believes that everybody cooks in full hair and makeup every day. And, no, that's just not reality. So we wanted to kind of show behind the curtain a little bit, which we do on the show. And it started off early, I think, in season 1, where we started showing some of the outtakes, which I make a really good mistake, is what I say, because it's like, that's the easiest thing I make. And so sometimes you'll drop an egg on the counter, and it's like, that's funny, let's just leave it in. So, and I think that it's being done more and more, but I think we were kind of the first show to really show that it's not perfect. And that's how people are. No, most people that cook haven't been to culinary school. Most people that cook like I do.
What's your favorite part about doing your show? What's it like when you show up on set? Do you have all the recipes ready? You know what you're going to shoot?
Sometimes. I mean, when we're 10 seasons in, we've been doing it for 5 years, 10 seasons. The first couple of seasons were all things that I had made a million times, things that my mom always made and that I always made. And then after you run through those basic recipes, you got to get creative. So now we're in the process. Now in season 10, it's like we want to do a Thanksgiving episode, but we've made the turkey that we make every year. We've made a variation of that. So we have to kind of tweak things and come up with new ways to do the same thing or a little variation on something. And that's a little bit of a challenge, but it's fun. I like to go in if it's something that I don't make all the time, and I call it boot camp. I like to go in and kind of make everything to make sure that I'm good with it, that it's something that if there's not an ingredient that, just so that I'm more comfortable, which we didn't have to do in the beginning because I made those things every day. But it's fun. I enjoy, our crew is, it's like a family. It's like the band and crew on the road. You get to know everybody and your friends, and so you look forward to seeing everybody. And we really do laugh all day long. So you can hear the crew laughing in the background on our show, and it really is fun. I have to be on set at 8 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. I'm going home today, and I'm not worried about it because I know I'm going to laugh, and there's going to be plenty of coffee, and everything's going to be fine. And we just have a good time.
If only you could wear your pajamas on set, it would be perfect.
I know. We did do a pajama episode, and I think we should do that again for sure.
So in the clip we saw, it was avocado toast, which you said is all the rage right now, which it is, especially in New York. You could get it everywhere. So how do you go about finding those new recipes for the new age of cooking and discovering your palate for it?
I do a lot of things by, if how when you have something in a restaurant that you love and you just think, man, that's so good, I just figure it out. I'm just like, there's a chicken tortilla soup in my first book that Garth and I used to have in a restaurant all the time in Oklahoma. And he loved it so much. And he's like, do you think you could make this? I'm like, sure. And then I went home, and I think it was one of the first recipes that I actually just made up. Like, how am I going to get this done? It doesn't really taste like the one in the restaurant now, but I put my own spin on it, and it's become something that everybody that I know that cooks, and we love it. So that's the process. It's just kind of, or sometimes it's a recipe of mine that I will just change up a little bit. There's a classic pecan pie recipe that I've been making my whole life that I got from a friend of mine, a hometown friend. And I just changed it up by making it a lemon pecan pie. Just something. So sometimes the best recipes are existing recipes that you kind of overhaul and make into something different.
Now, do you credit your cooking for your successful marriage? Because I'm sure Garth loves to come home and be like, full meal?
Well, it is a plus, I will say. He's my chief tester, so he's my guy that will, and Garth is very honest, and sometimes that's awesome. Sometimes not so much. If he starts with, may I suggest, then you're in trouble. But he will taste something that I've made that's new, and if he loves it, he can't speak. It's kind of like just yummy sounds, and that's it. If he doesn't love it, he'll say, "That's nice," and then that's the kiss of death. I know I need to go start over again.
But in all seriousness, what is your secret to keeping things fresh, happy at home? You guys are the top couple in country music. I consider them that. I know Tim and Faith are out there too, but you guys better watch your back.
There's a race, guys. No, I think for us, it's that we have been friends for such a long time. Our relationship is based on a very deep friendship that we've had. So we were in a position of knowing each other as friends before we ever went on a date. And I think, a lot of times you are, just speaking for myself, down the road in a relationship, before you really get to know the person well enough to know if you really like them or not. And liking someone is as important as loving someone. And so we laugh a lot. And so when we're not like all lovey-dovey and passionate, we're still best friends. So it's just the way it works. He's whatever I need him to be. He can be my best friend. He can be my lover. He can be my shopper. If I need like a dress for an event and I don't have time to go shopping, this guy can go buy a dress and it's gorgeous and it fits. He's fantastic. So he's all those things that you need him to be. And I think at the center of it is a true respect and love for each other and a friendship.
We all need a Garth in our life, huh?
We do. You do.
I want to call up my husband and be like, go buy me a dress for the wedding.
Right?
Again.
And he cooks. So I call him Gartha Stewart because he cooks too. So, but I will say that Garth is very much like, he'll make a sandwich and he'll be like, oh, he'll take a picture of his sandwich. I'm like, it's a ham and cheese sandwich. It's like, he's very proud of his food that he makes, yeah.
He'll be like, put it on the show.
Yeah, well, actually, he'll come in and open a jar for me and go, well, I have my own cooking show. I'm like, just get out of the kitchen. Get out of here.
And he can sing, which is a plus.
There's that. And he does. He sings a lot in the house. Just walking around singing.
Yeah, what is it like in your house when you guys are sitting down songwriting or making music? What's that like?
He usually, I usually get up first and turn on the fog machine, and then he gets, he comes up through the floor, and
The wind machine.
yeah, the headset mic and the hat, and he makes me say, "Ladies and gentlemen, Garth Brooks." It's weird, but no, it's really. I'm seeing that vision actually. No, it's really just we are a couple first, but we also are both so musical that if we're not, inappropriately rewriting lyrics of existing songs, we do that a lot for fun. We're listening to music in the house all the time, or we're singing, or we're just because this is just who we are. We don't. It's not even really a conscious thing. You just kind of find yourself humming something. I'll find myself singing some song, and I'm like, why am I singing "Come On, Eileen"? And Garth was humming it earlier. It's like it's just one of those things that just happens.
So you guys recently did a Christmas album.
We did.
What was that process like? That's always fun to get back to the hits of Christmas time. And
So much fun. We both love Christmas so much. We've been talking about doing a duet album forever, and we have a few duets out there through the years. And we thought a Christmas album might be the easiest way to kind of just jump into a full-on duet record. And Garth had the idea actually of every song on the album doesn't have to be a duet per se. So he has some songs that are that's just him. I have some that are just me, some that we sing harmony on for each other, and then some full-on duets. And it was really one of the most fun times I've had in the studio because you have to make a Christmas record in, the summer. And so it was 100 degrees outside Nashville. But when you walked into the studio, there was a Christmas tree and the air was turned down, the fireplace was going, and it was Christmas. And those are just the most fun songs to sing. We had the best time.
how do you balance it all, though? How do you go, I'm doing the cooking show, but I want to get back in the studio, and then I want to make some products with Williams and Sonoma, and then I want to write like 3 best-selling cookbooks, which I have up here too. What's the balance like?
I think it's true that if you're doing a lot of things, it's hard to do everything well. And sometimes I think it shifts. I really do. I feel like for me, if you made me pick one thing that I'd have to pick one thing to do, I would always pick music because I feel like that's what I wanted to do since I was 5 years old. So I can't imagine not singing. I love the fact that I can do other things too. But I find that but music will get on the back burner for a little bit when I'm doing something in food or in furniture or whatever I'm doing. And then music will come back into the forefront. So, and it's time. This tour has been really great, and I've enjoyed the touring part, and I've so enjoyed the performing. And now I'm really, really ready to get back in the studio. So now that we've kind of come out with this and we're moving in this direction, there's about to be another avenue for some more music. So it all just kind of shifts when it needs to.
Well, that's exciting. I can't wait for that album. And it's also a wonderful time for women in country music. Can we give it up for all the, like Maren Morris? Yeah, Carrie Underwood, Trisha, Shania's back. Is it nice for you to see that? Because there was for a while when it was a man's club, and now there's so many great female artists in Nashville and around the world.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a mistake to think that because women are maybe a bigger listening audience for country music than men, that women just want to hear men, because I think women have a different perspective as artists, and I think that there are men and women who want to hear that perspective. So I think it's a mistake to just think that there shouldn't be more women on the radio. Equal on both sides. And when I was starting out in the early 90s, there were a ton of women on the radio. Rebos paved the way, but there was Winona, there were the Judds, there was Patty Loveless, there was me, there was Susie Boggess, there was Pam Tillis, there was Mary Chapin Carpenter. I mean, there were a ton of women in that, all on the radio at that time. And then when I moved to Oklahoma to help raise these 3 girls and kind of write cookbooks, and I came back into the music world, that was the first question was, where are all the women? And I was like, yeah, you're right. I hadn't even really thought about it, honestly, that they, like, where are they? So I'm happy to see that that there's girls coming back into the mix. Maybe it goes in cycles. But I don't know. Maybe we had bro country for a really long time. Maybe it's girl crush time for a while again.
And I saw Kelly Clarkson was on your show, right, as a guest star.
Yeah.
What's it like, the community in Nashville? Because you kind of, you know, you see the same people all the time. It's a smaller Hollywood. And I know you're in Oklahoma as well, but what's it like in Nashville?
I think it really is a community. You know, Kelly's like a little sister. You know, she first of all, she could be my daughter. She's so young, but she's funny and she's just, I love her so much. And talk about a talent. I mean, when I hear her sing, it blows my mind. So she and I have had a chance to work together before. She with Reba, she being her mother-in-law, we worked on a project on Kelly's record, a Christmas project, and then we just recently worked on a Reba project. And so and I've known Reba for a long time. We've been on the same label we were on the same label for a long, long time. And that's one of those things where I grew up listening to Reba. So for Reba even now, like if Reba McEntire texts me, I tell everyone. Like I'm like,
Wait, Reba texts you?
right? Like Reba McEntire texted me. I can't get over it, you know. And so when we get together, it is, you know, we all work, so we all travel a lot, and we mostly run into each other at events where there are multiple people, like award shows and things. But there are a few of us that get together otherwise, and I'd say Reba's one of those for me, and Kelly. And Kelly was great to come on the show, and I just, man, I'm telling you, I got to sing with her. She came in and sang on a song of mine called Prize Fighter, and I feel like I can pretty much hold my own with anybody, but every time she'd go in and sing some lick, I'd be like, let me go back in there and try mine again. Like, give me another shot at mine. She's amazing.
She pushes you though, right?
She does, which is good.
Before I pass it off to the audience, I want to know, with your new music, what will be the vibe? What kind of words do you want to put on paper and sing and get out there? I've got a couple of projects going, and one I'll wait to talk about. But just a regular studio album. After making records for 25 years, the goal for me is to just I've always chosen songs based on just how they move me. You know, I like songs for the same reason you like songs. Sometimes you hear a song on the radio and you'll think, that song is about my life, you know, and so you really relate. And sometimes you love a song and you don't know why you love a song, but you just can't get it out of your head. X's and O's was that kind of song for me. I was like, I just can't, I like the song's driving me crazy, and I can't stop listening to it. And I think those are all good reasons to record songs. So when I'm listening, I don't really say, well, I want to make a folk record, or I want to make a more pop-sounding record, or I want to make a traditional country record. I just want to find songs that move me, and then the record sort of figures it out its own way. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm listening. I've done a little bit of recording. I'm listening some more, and I'll do some more recording, and the album will kind of find its way. Yeah, well, we can't wait. I know I'm speaking for all of us, guys.
I can't wait. I'm ready.
So let's open it up to some audience questions. We have one right
Yes,
here.
hi, Mrs. Trisha Yearwood. I just wanted to say, you talked about coming up with some new things in 2018. Are you able to talk about them?
What is your name?
Candela.
Hey, Candela. Yeah, I mean, the 3-year tour is coming to an end, but Garth and I, Garth always says his retiring days are behind him, which is good. So we're looking at some international touring, and we're also just looking at maybe some festivals and things like that. For me, in talking music, I'd like to do another Trisha tour, like, just to,
We should do it.
And Garth's like, I can go with you. And I'm like, it's a little different when I go on a tour with you. Like, I don't know what you're going to do. You're going to wait in the car. I don't know what's going to happen. Our goal is to try to find ways to do our own thing, but still be together. I also have always been really interested, and I've done a little bit of acting. I'm looking at a couple of little independent roles in a couple of films. So we kind of feel like we have such a great life, and we don't want to do anything that doesn't make it better and make it more fun. And we're just kind of looking at opportunities as they come. Hey,
I'm sorry. Hey,
tell everyone your name.
I'm Harriet.
Hi, Harriet.
Hi, how are you? I just wanted to, going back to what she said, in 2018, we're going to be sad. But I know it's been kicked around a lot. It's always been talked about Broadway. So I just want to know if that's on the possibility of on the table, if you can speak about it.
It is possible.
I can so see you as Elphaba.
Maybe Elphaba's grandma.
Or waitress, whatever. No, not the grandma. And also, that webisode thing that you talked about, that would rock. Like what you mentioned on Coffee Talk.
Yeah.
I could so see that. Like Glenda, you, Mandy, like just all of that.
Yeah, all of that is possible,
that.
Harriet. All of it's
Okay.
possible. You know, when my husband said that he would be willing to live in New York with me for a while to do Broadway, I was like, really? I love you so much. So again, it's kind of one of those things where I'm more of a person who, when the opportunities come, I go, hey, that'd be cool to do. And, you know, and I've had a chance a couple of times to be, to do things on Broadway, but my schedule has not allowed it because it's not something you can just come in and do for a weekend. But I would love it if the right thing were to happen. That would be really, really fun. So thank you for asking. This is true. And don't be sad. We're not quitting. Everything's good.
You could just film the cooking show here, do Broadway.
There you go.
All right, last question.
Hello, I can't believe I'm talking to you.
What is your name?
Andrew.
Hey, Andrew.
I've been listening to you since I was 2, so.
Which was like a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
It's fine, Andrew.
So,
It's fine. It's fine.
So my question is, your music has touched millions of people. I mean, we were all singing along in the audience before the show started. Do you have a defining moment in your career that really, you looked around, you were just like, yeah, you know, I made it, like something like that?
It still happens. When you said that, the thing that popped in my head, which I'll tell you, which will make you laugh, were two things that made me say, I think I'm cool now. I came to New York and I got to be a guest on Sesame Street, which was the show that I had watched since I was 6 years old. So I was like, now I'm cool because I got to meet Grover. I was so excited. True story. And then the other thing was that I was an answer for a puzzle on Wheel of Fortune, and I was like, okay, now I've made it because that's right. You know, that was. I mean, how cool was that? But there were defining moments, and I'll tell you, probably the first one for me was before you ever heard "She's in Love with a Boy" or a song. I had been in Nashville for about 6 years, and I was doing demos for publishers and songwriters. And I was, you know, hoping to do this. I wanted to be an artist and get a record deal. And I did a live showcase at a place called Douglas Corner. And that was on that night, my parents happened to be there, which was awesome. Out on the sidewalk, the head of MCA Records walked outside and he said, I think you're really cool. You should come into the office and let's talk about this. You should make a record. And I remember, I'll cry telling it probably. I remember standing on the street with my mom and dad thinking, I'm going to get my shot. And it wasn't, I'm going to be famous or I'm going to be successful. There's no way to know what's going to happen next. But I knew that I was going to get to make that record and have that opportunity. And that was the first kind of, my parents had been telling me my whole life, you just got to keep moving forward, tiny baby steps. Everything you do is a step to that, to what you want to do. And that was the night that I was like, I don't know what's going to happen next, but I know I'm going to get the opportunity and then we'll see. That was probably the biggest moment because it was before everything really happened, but I knew I was going to have a shot at it. But thank you. Thanks for liking the music.
What a great story. I'm going to tear up. But I'm just looking at that summer cup. Like, it will cheer me up right away.
Or it might make you cry more. You never know. I love you so much.
Trisha. Well, thank you so much for being here. We've so loved having you. And thank you all for being here.
Thank you. Thank
as well.
everybody for
Thank
being
you,
here.
Trisha.
Thank you.